You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver media podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and the Pepper Master, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
Ho, 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 kitties and cubs, and welcome to Season 3 and episode number 186. Hello, our old pal Jake, you lovely bastard. I see you there. Come on in and join if you want to.
Why are you insulting his mom like that, dude?
Oh, come on. He keeps on saying he's part of the boars, and he's...
I know. I'm just playing.
He knows where he comes from. We lay down in the gutter and look up at the stars together. If you want to join us, my friend, please do. I was wondering if you'd be here this morning. Yes, ho ho ho, and welcome to Season 3 and episode number 185 of the Daily Beaver Morning Show here on the Crier Media Network. Thank you for your patience. I am dead tired because I was up late. Today, recording day is Tuesday, August 15th, 2023, and it is beginning to look a lot like Trumpmas everywhere you go. I'm your host, the Eager Beaver, pronouns he, him. Hey, Mr. Beaver A, and hey, Happy. And with me, as always, is my dear friend, Mr. Grizzly. And though we did not coordinate today, I kind of had a feeling. Of course, a big thank you goes to our podcast's founding sponsors, the Pepper Master, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, and CanadianTarot.com. We have a Tuesday morning nibble for you, and again, we could talk about wildfires. We could talk about the electric grid. But again, we ain't got time for that.
No.
Because
there's so much news. I'm looking at all of it and I'm like, I'd like to talk about this and this and this and this. No, we can't. We got one thing we can deal with today, really. I mean,
our Paul Jake goes, how could I not? Let me grab a big fat coffee. Got to recharge a tad. You got it, buddy.
I just sent you a link, bud. Just sent you the link.
Because yesterday, I don't know how I've gotten good at predicting this, but when the ones came out earlier about the documents case, it was the day before they came out, and I said, they might be coming out tomorrow. And yesterday I thought, they might be coming out tomorrow, because I thought grand jury days were Tuesdays and Thursdays. It seems that might be more federal. At the state level in Georgia, grand jury meetings were Mondays and Tuesdays. So yesterday they had two people come in and testify, and normally the court date ends at 5. But I guess the members of the grand jury decided that they were going to be troopers and push through because they saw the finish line. And after 9 p.m., last night, a sealed indictment was walked to the courtroom of Judge McBurney, who was still at the courtroom
At 9
past
o'clock.
9 p.m.
Yeah.
So I
Not
guess
in
somebody
court either, just dedicated to
Yeah.
duty.
Yeah. So I'm guessing somebody might have tapped him and said, no, you might want to stay. And then he read the indictment to himself. And because this is Georgia and everything is on TV, well, that was all on camera, read it to himself and certified it and returned it to the clerk, who brought it to the clerk's office. And in Georgia, they said usually within 3 hours, the indictment will be unsealed. And sure enough, it was. And 41 new charges.
I thought it was 43. Is it 41? I thought it was 43. I could be wrong.
I'm hearing different numbers all the time. So, but what I heard last night was 41 before I just conked out and got too tired at 3:30 in the morning and went to bed. 41 new charges is what was saying at the time. 13 of them apply specifically to Donald Trump. And if you're saying, well, if there were 41 charges and 13 apply to Donald Trump, well, what's going on? Well, that's because there were 18 other co-indictees. So yesterday, we said that there would be a lot. We were thinking around 14, 15, 16, 18 fellow indictees. And because it seems that this investigation is continuing, 30 unnamed co-conspirators to go along with the 19 charges.
And one co-conspirator whose name, I don't know if you noticed, if you caught this. Did you catch the name Mike Roman?
Mm-hmm.
Mike Roman, for those of you who are unaware. So this was from February 19th, 2022. Anybody in Canadian politics remember the name Mike Roman? I was watching Maddow, and this guy has been subpoenaed by the January 6th committee in the U.S., which claims to have evidence that he directed the fake elector scheme along with Giuliani on behalf of Trump. The name rang a bell for me, and Google did the rest. He is the treasurer of Stephen Harper's IDU. He also Andrew Scheer, the CBC HQ lawyer, Arthur Hamilton, and oil company execs in 2019 to teach them how to discredit environmental groups. He also worked directly for the Koch brothers at one time. He's a Roger Stone clone. I point out this tidbit to remind everyone of the dirty tricksters that the CPC surrounds itself with.
Dang. It's amazing how it's not popping up, eh?
Yeah.
Alexander, and the vaccine not vaccine, just completely denial guy, and now this guy.
Yeah, Mike Roman works for the Conservatives in Canada and for all of Stephen Harper's IDU members. He also works for Russia and all the GOP and Tories who belong to the transnational far-right criminal organization called Atlas Network. I'm reading somebody's tweet. These aren't my words. So, yeah, the ties that bind.
Indeed. So, yeah, 30 co-conspirators. It was you hear 98 page 97. I'm guessing that's 98 with the cover page. 97-page indictment. Each of the 19 are charged with at least one count of racketeering because they're all involved in the same racket. They all have until noon on August 25th to voluntarily surrender. Of those charges, 13 are counts for Trump, including one of racketeering, count 1, count 5, solicitation of violation of oath by a public officer, counts 11, 13, 15, 17, and 19, which are conspiracy counts, count 28, which is a solicitation of violation of oath, count 29, making false statements, count 38, solicitation of violation of oath, several times, count 39, false statements, and count 27, filing false documents. We started a pool last time. Will he hit 100? Well, let's add it. total. After one indictment, two indictments, three indictments, now four freaking indictments. I love to count. We are at 91. So if you picked indictment number 4 around mid-August or before September 1st, sorry, you didn't quite win the prize. But hey, probably more to come.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with those 30 unindicted co-conspirators. And then in that other case with the 6 unindicted co-conspirators. And then, there's still what he did with his inauguration campaign. And apparently there's another court case going on, something with having to do with ACN video cameras, which is a company that produced video cameras that you could talk to somebody else to, but only if they only had another ACN video camera. And he brought these people onto his Trump Apprentice show and said, hey, this is a great product. And then started doing some videos going, hey, if you want to get in on selling these things, I know a lot of people that got really rich doing this. And turns out it was a pyramid scheme. And turns out that people sunk hundreds of thousands in it and lost a lot of money. And turns out instead of suing ACN, they're suing the guy who did the promotions. Which is Trump. Because we wouldn't have sunk all that money if Trump hadn't told us for sure that we could get rich for it. So that's another court case he's got going in the back. So he's got tons of them. But in terms of, I guess, felony, big felony charges, not necessarily in civil court, we're at 91 and counting. Of course, he denies any wrongdoing in the case and says that everything is politically motivated. Oh, of course. Well, hey, let's bring Jake in if he's here.
Your old pal Jake is here, and we're going to bring him in.
Hey.
Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho. The aviators. We got the aviators. Oh, damn.
In honor of Dark Brandon, who had nothing to do with this. In fact, who
nothing at all.
Who took every effort to put the most keystone cops in charge of the investigation as he could have. that song where they're like dreaming of Whiskey Mountain, where the cops have wooden legs. In any other era, I wish a president had listened to that song.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The short version of this indictment is that they are finally treating, as you guys were, I think, saying it perfectly, they're finally treating Donald Trump like we've been saying, the leader of a criminal organization.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh. I mean, it is
who's next?
Weight off.
Who's next to fall?
I was, here's the thing. Truly, yes. I was talking with your audience about that. I free speculation. I wonder if it's possible that if Mark Meadows not pleaded, but talked, basically, if he still has to be indicted in order to plead guilty and just throw himself at the mercy of the court.
Or maybe they have other evidence that discovers that as much as he sang, he still didn't tell the full truth. Same thing with Rudy.
No.
He thought he had a insurance policy. I guess his Queen for a Day thing didn't go so well, except that was with Jack Smith, but he is a unindicted co-conspirator there. I mean, his name hasn't been revealed publicly, but I think we all know he's conspirator number one.
Well, I mean, how many of them figured that, oh, don't worry, Trump will take care of me? It's like, dude, he's never looked out for anyone but himself in his entire miserable existence.
Yes. And they overestimate his intelligence. I'm sure they thought if I go down, Trump knows that he'll go down too. No, he doesn't.
No.
He's
a narcissist. He thinks he's untouchable.
The only reason... go ahead.
He thinks that like one of Clarence Thomas's buddies will come in and save him with a couple of billion.
Yeah. Yes.
Even the Federalist Society is starting to move away from him after all he's done for them.
Trump is learning the real GOP scam here. It's the real horror of it for him is realizing that they do not care about him every bit as much as he doesn't care about them.
He's gonna be surprised that wait a minute, they used me?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, that's not how it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Was it just about the bills? Did I mean nothing to you? Yeah.
Was it all about abortion? Tell me the truth. What's she like in bed?
What kind of tax
better than
breaks
me,
are the
isn't she?
Democrats giving you? Let me tell you, the underappreciated thing here is actually the charges for the nobodies.
Mhm. Yep.
There's a lot of names on that indictment that only people in Georgia will recognize.
Yes.
That is actually, in my opinion, a fantastic development, because if they're working their way up from the bottom, I wouldn't want to see them stop right next to the top. You couldn't build a case with a guy saying what he was doing on national television. No, they shouldn't need that much. But more importantly, with all these state level things, the national level attorney general isn't going to be interested in getting those heads on his wall. But the reality is this was not done without a network of accomplices.
Mm-hmm.
And for a long time, as I'm sure you guys have suspected, this political party in the United States has essentially been operating as a criminal enterprise.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
We have a similar one.
Yeah, here in Ontario.
We have a similar one. Our Conservative Party, after it changed its name from Progressive Conservative to Conservative Party back in 2006, ran an election where they created this little thing called an in and out scheme, where they took money. Each electoral district is only supposed to spend a certain amount, and they took some money and then first transferred money into an account and then out of an account. So they transferred money into those accounts and then said, now you need to give money to the national party so that we can do something. So the money went back out.
Yeah.
Yes, which allowed them to spend too much. And then they fought that in court. And then before they won a whole other election, they delayed that. And then there was another election. So here in Canada, we weren't allowed to know before we voted for them the second time
what they did,
whether or not they had completely done this. And it was going to happen again that we weren't going to know before the third time, until suddenly, after all those years of saying, no, we never did anything, they just suddenly pleaded guilty in order to save 4 of their operatives and 2 of the senators from landing their asses in jail. And then, even though they pleaded guilty in court, because they filed all those false statements, and in Canada, if you get 5% of the vote in your writing, you get a certain percent of the money your election expenses returned. They tried to keep all that money that they fraudulently, for about another year, about $1 million, until they were told, no, you have to give that back too. So that's how they won.
Mm-hmm. Cheating,
quote,
basically.
Yeah,
their first election. So this party has corruption in its DNA.
No qualifier
These
necessary.
are organized crime rings.
Yeah.
That's just cheating. And I first heard about this. Actually, this was one of the first things I heard you guys talk about. And it scares the hell out of me because it has all the symptoms that I'm familiar with seeing. I'll tell you, they can't, if they are allowed to get away with this, as they have done, essentially using politics for money laundering, the next thing's coming. And it gets worse until it's dealt with.
Oh,
and boy, better sooner than later, let me tell you. Good God.
Well,
absolutely.
Let me put something on the screen for you here that ties into all of that, and will send shivers down your spine when you read this headline. I'll put it on the screen, then I'll read it out for the audio version only. But it's like, oh my goodness gracious, this headline. Christianity Today editor: Evangelicals call Jesus liberal and weak. A former evangelical leader is sounding the alarm about the direction his religion is headed in. Here's why I say that all ties in. Who do you think Stephen Harper is attached to?
Oh, God.
PBCC, which is an evangelical right-wing Christian movement. Who do you think the IDU is connected to? Who are Trump's biggest supporters?
The very same.
Right.
And I wonder if that movement, with knowing almost nothing else about them, I wonder if that movement is connected to something called Seven Mountains Adventists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know who they are. They're
I'm annoyed that
So-
I do that we have to. We have
So
to.
if I understand this correctly, the people who are against cancel culture are canceling Jesus because he's too weak and liberal, and I guess they're looking for his replacement.
and they're still calling themselves Christians.
Yeah. That in particular is a weird one, right?
Let's take this Christ thing out of Christianity,
yeah.
but still keep the name.
Yeah.
Which is what the conservatives did.
They're going to eliminate everything Christ did that was, any teachings, whether you're religious or not, any teachings you ever read about Jesus were all he was basically a socialist, right?
Yes. Yeah, flipping over the coin changer tables.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
He is a rage. Let me just say this. I 100% agree with their interpretation of Jesus. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wish they would say they acknowledge that they don't worship his teachings, and we're good.
Clearly.
Exactly. Jeez. So while Trump is probably less ironically listening to the song "Only in America" by Brooks and Dunn.
All right. That got me.
For those not paying attention, that was the song he walked out to in a campaign rally a few weeks ago, where right at the time where the song was talking about, well, one that could end up going to prison, one just might be president.
Can I just say, meanwhile, we're walking out to "Only in America."
And then him going, "This is unprecedented." It's like, not now. We don't need your backups.
Look, you got to give him credit. Love him or hate him, you got to give him credit. Yeah. Oh God, I hate that my instinct is to try to make it work, but you just can't do it. It's stabbing your eyes no matter where you go. But
I always thought it
give
was
him
something
credit.
else, but that's just me.
That's fair. That is fair. I didn't think of it till I've done it at a lot of weddings, if I'm honest. There's some apologies to make after this. Whether you love him or hate him.
Come on, Jake. Let's have a little electric slide.
Oh yeah, just a little less. I probably shouldn't have done that so much. But anyway, whether you love or hate Trump, the reality is he is setting records. Left and right, he's a record setter. It cannot be denied.
Oh, yeah. Fastest violation of a judge's warning.
Oh, absolutely. Most lawyers
don't
in prison
go out and intimidate people. Okay, if I don't say specifically who I'm intimidating, judge, is that okay? Come to my bench by 5:00. We need to talk.
Oh God!
I didn't mention anybody by name. Is that okay? It's like, no, diaper Donnie. It is not. Oh man. Okay,
go ahead. Sorry. I'm so used to the tables being turned. This is delightful. No, go ahead.
Please. I think we need a little visual stimulation.
For sure.
Because there's a I'm going to say young lady because I have no idea she is, but I think she's a mother of at least 3 because.
Okay, ready?
Given the way she speaks.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, here we go.
All right,
let's have a look at this.
Here we go. The queen of the day. Oh, come on, visual show. I know it's going to show for the people watching, and hopefully it will come back in. But
yeah, it's there. It's a little blurry, but
for the moment, Miss, here
take it
you can you can wear this. Let's try that again.
Yeah,
there we go. There she is.
Thank you for joining us. I'm here with the prosecutors and investigators who have worked diligently on the investigation of criminal attempts to interfere in the administration of Georgia's 2020 presidential election.
Someone added a beat in post.
Today, based on information developed by that investigation, a Fulton County grand jury returned a true bill of indictment, charging 19 individuals with violations of Georgia law arising from a criminal conspiracy
Ooh,
Criminal
to
conspiracy.
overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election in this state.
to overturn the results, y'all.
The indictment includes
Ooh.
41 felony counts and is 97 pages long.
97.
Read 'em all.
Please remember that everyone charged in this bill of indictment is presumed innocent. Specifically, the indictment brings felony charges against Donald John Trump, Rudolph William Louis Giuliani,
Name them all.
John Charles Eastman,
Music to my ears.
They got John.
Mark Wendell Meadows,
Woo.
John Cheeseborough,
Mm-mm.
Jeffrey
Oh,
Clark, Jenna Lynn Ellis,
Ooh.
Ray Stallings Smith III,
the third.
And yet they
Robert-
wouldn't disbar her.
Chili,
No.
Michael A. Roman, David James Schaefer, Sean Micah Tresher Steele,
Mm.
Stephen Cliffgard Lee, Harrison William Prescott Floyd,
I don't know who that is,
Travion
but I hate him.
Cooper, Sydney Catherine Powell,
Ooh.
Kathleen Austin Latham, Scott
Folding chair.
Graham Hall,
Mm.
and Misty Hampton, also
AKA?
known as Misty Hayes.
Hmm.
Every individual charged in the indictment is charged with one count of violating Georgia's Racketeer, Influenced, and Corrupt Organizations Act
Mm.
through participation in a criminal enterprise in Fulton County, Georgia, and elsewhere to accomplish the illegal goal of allowing Donald J. Trump to seize the presidential term of office beginning on January 20th, 21.
Boom. How'd you like that? How does that sound?
If I had,
That's wonderful.
if I had just a little more courage to replace this entire thing behind me, what I flirted with doing for just a moment was spraying that coffee in the air like Triple H and give it a full-throated woo. That was a brutal legal beating. Though she wound up with the book and overhand threw it at him.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this is what everybody expected Jack Smith to be doing in his first one, and he zigged when everybody thought he would zag.
True.
So people are getting a lot of satisfaction out of this one. And as Tavi G pointed out, he says here and elsewhere, because these are rico
Suave.
charges.
We have entirely different glasses for that. Do go on.
Yes. Got glasses for all occasions. Because it's that, she has reach outside of her county and
yes.
outside of her state.
Oh yes.
And there are what, 6 other states
Yeah,
where this kind of thing happened?
Oh yes, indeed. This would give her the ability to, in theory, if I understand correctly, and I may not, it would give her the ability to charge for things done in all those states that violate Georgia law. Again, I stress you guys are getting morning Jake. It's not the same as evening Jake. A little less polish. Less double checking. But nonetheless, that's not, in my opinion, what's really important about this. What's really important in terms of the cascading consequences is that she set a template for going after these folks, and she has made it clear they cannot just use Donald Trump as a tulpa for all the evil things they wanted to do. They can't just say the billionaire made me do it, and that's super important. That's I mean, if she had just gone after the folks, the fellas from DC, then all the other attorney generals would have to explain to their judges why they think it was a more robust case. Now they really just have to be like, remember Georgia? Same thing. Here you go. So I don't think she's going to me, it sounds overambitious that she might try to investigate this on behalf of everyone. I would be shocked if she was not in contact with these other attorney generals, who I will point out are all Democrats, given the scenario, because he was trying to overturn yada yada. I'd be shocked if she was not talking to them. And I would also be shocked if we didn't have, say, Arizona charges rolling out shortly. Already got Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
We got Michigan.
Oh, yes.
Dana.
The reason that
Dana.
I love her dearly, Dana Nessel is I want to be her when I grow up. But one clarifying thing about Michigan, that was not as big a deal because she did not charge Trump. I was very concerned by that. I still can't explain why she didn't. It was a judgment call, is all I can say.
Mm-hmm.
But hand to God, if I had to pick between the state folks getting charged and Trump getting charged in this, I would pick the state folks. It's that important. But nothing on earth was better than finding out, because Trump is recorded. It's almost impossible not to. Nothing on earth was better than finding out that they're like, this giant group, these 19 people, man, that really does haunt the U.S. quite a bit. But these 19, let's call them people who are not too keen on democracy. They had a boss. His name was Trump. They all did a crime that they planned together. That is why this is a Rico Suave case, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm. And in a Rico Suave case, you personally do not have to have done all the things, because you are fully responsible for everything any other member of the conspiracy has done in furtherance of the crime as well.
That's it exactly.
Yeah.
And as it should be. As it should be.
Well, because everybody's working together, rowing in the same direction towards common goal. Go team.
Yes. I wish I could remember who I'm stealing this from. I think I'm stealing this from Bo of the Fifth Column. But the Go team got me. I'll admit that. But
USA, USA, USA.
I'm imagining a bunch of white hands. Oh, yes.
What do you think about my new fashion, guys? What do you think about this, eh? Does that look
Looking
good?
fine as hell.
A little orange jumpsuit for you?
Orange is the new orange.
It's about to be very popular with former world leaders. A solid percentage of them are going to be wearing that. Between Trump and Bolsonaro, oh, yeah. Nice.
One
I couldn't
Bolsonaro
resist.
and a Trump in a pear tree.
It's like an assembly line. Everybody assembles a different part of the crime and puts it together. You have to charge the boss as the Henry Ford of this.
And you know what's the worst part is I just heard on the news that Argentina is about to go that way. They just voted in primaries over this weekend. You had to get like 1.5% to get on the ballot. 27 candidates or something like that put their names on it. And then some far right-wing libertarian who speaks like Trump and loves Trump ended up winning the primary with 30% of the vote. And all of a sudden he's the front runner. And all of a sudden in Argentina, where inflation is about 115%,
I've seen that
value
guy.
of the Argentinian peso dropped 18% the next day. It's like
Yeah.
the guy that this guy is modeling himself after has got foreign. Really? Argentina? Really? Do you not have TV?
And can we to stop off at immature real quick? Why is it these guys always got to have crazy hair? This guy looks like meth Wolverine.
You know what it is? It's like the evil comic book characters always have giant heads, right? Or big hair or something like that. All of these right-wing populist nut bars, as far as I'm concerned, and sorry if somebody's offended by that, but they all have the worst hair possible. Like the worst.
It's
God.
Genuinely strange.
It's bizarre, right?
Let's get a...
I don't know if
like
that's
even
showing up or not.
DeSantis, it always looks greasy.
Oh, yeah.
Which makes no sense to me. He's filthy rich. He lives in a mansion.
But he literally looks like Trump, but with dark hair. He's got the same block head.
I think he's got a little Liberace going on
There we go.
actually.
Yeah, little Liberace.
Yeah.
There we go. The thing disappeared, Mr. Grizzly.
Yeah, I
That
took
was,
it down. Okay, that's good. Okay, yeah, I'll put it back up there. Yeah, Walmart.
I mean, literally the same
Wolverine.
blockhead, the same. I bet you there's not a picture of him without his mouth open either.
If Wolverine could regenerate from everything except heavy use of methamphetamines, then there he is for sure.
Yeesh. So that's Javier Milei.
Oh,
Was his
God.
name. So yeah. So
I really
unless like Argentinians started tuning into US TV and see where this road leads.
Truly. May that at least be an upside for this. Just look at how gross it is. Set aside how dangerous it is for a second. I can't express to you how often I've discussed the genitals of a former president, more so than when the entire scandal was about sexual proclivities. I know
those
so
were
much.
the days.
Those were the beautiful days. We were just talking about affairs and what have you. I'm sitting here counting fingers, looking up New York sex assault laws. It's gross. It's a gross time to be interested in the news.
It's really weird that in 2023 we are remembering fondly the days when all we were talking about him was raw dogging a porn star behind his wife's back.
Yeah. Those
I think
good
what she
old
was
wholesome days.
The good old holes. Those were the days, my friends. We thought they'd never end.
The days of innocence. We thought that the worst thing that Trump could do is raw dog a porn star while his pregnant wife's at home.
Oh, how wrong we were.
How sweet we were, sweet summer children. We had no idea. God. What is truly here, folks? Guys, what do you think? I mean, at some point, we're going to have a conversation, like with other people that supported this. And I don't know how it's going to be anything other than incredibly awkward. I've tried to have it already, and it's just like,
and we won't be able to say we told you so. No. Because that conversation never goes well.
Well, and we tried. We're like, look, we did a whole January 6th, but it's truly with all of these fellas. Like you guys have the same brand of insanity, like this non-reality based politics. Yep. And I promise you, I don't know thing one about dime store Hugh Jackman, but I do know it wasn't as good as Costco Wolverine. I can admit that, but I promise you, his politics are going to be the same. It's pretending something's happening that's not, so he can handle things that are happening poorly. And I just don't understand how that keeps getting sold. I don't get it.
See, the thing that I wonder, and it was the same thing, but I learned my lesson with Bush too, because we saw you guys do 8 years with Bush too. We saw the disaster that was, and we laughed, and we smiled smugly because nobody does smug better than a Canadian.
It was well deserved.
We did that, I guess, and then we went and gave ourselves not 8 but nearly 10 years of Harper, who basically beta tested pretty much everything Trump did.
It's like how stupid are we? Obviously, very.
We saw it, we laughed, we thought ourselves superior, and then we said, "Let's get ourselves a slice of this and let's make it last longer."
You know, the thing was, the first time Harper got in, it was kind of inevitable because they'd had leader fatigue with Chrétien at that point, right? So the government was going to change. I just didn't think it was going to be what it was. I didn't think. I mean, I think what summed up that administration, if you will, was with "I'm entitled to my entitlements," which is the worst thing a politician ever could have said. That was the nail in the coffin for Chrétien's term. It really was. And after that, it was like, okay, the country's going to vote conservative. There's no question about that. I wish they could have voted NDP though, because Jack Layton would have been much better.
And that's kind of it though. Like, doesn't it just feel like we need to, as a people, move past this era of something that doesn't ring quite right, being the thing that ends a campaign versus having no goddamn idea how the government even works, or more accurately, to just be lying constantly. I feel like we've accepted this stereotype that politicians lie. That's not true. Evil politicians lie. And one of the chief lies they tell is that everybody lies. So my doing it isn't special. But it's nonsense.
Well, right now we've got the federal conservatives and then the provincial conservatives here in the province of Ontario, Canada's most populous province of 15.6 million people. Explain to me their slogans. In Ontario, it's "Get it done," and federally, it's "Bring it home."
Define it.
Yeah. What is it?
Define it. It's like watching that South Park episode. Today, something really new. It.
What is it?
Oh, you're gonna see. It's something.
It's something.
It is something. We love it.
So it's for sure a noun.
Isn't there a series of films called It? If that's what it is, I want no part of it. Thank you very much.
Hey, listen, come on down. We got 50% off it. We all float. All right now. I would very much.
We're full of it.
That's right.
If I was a voter and I saw that sign, I would think, number one, my politician, the politician that put this out, does not have a plan they're comfortable sharing with me. And number two, they think I'm dumb enough that the collection of words that they flicked at that sign, like throwing spaghetti on a wall, that collection of words they thought would be enough to assure me that they're up to something I'd like. And what is infuriating to me is they are correct. They are. I mean, that is enough for some people. They see a phrase, they think it probably hints at a policy. I don't need to know what the policy is. I'm just going to keep agreeing that the Jews are the cause of all of our woes. Like, I truly, desperately want to understand this, and I don't.
Like,
I beg you for insight if you have any, or let's just weep together.
Part of me wants to understand it, and then part of me just turns around and says, just look at gangs and cults, man. It's the same damn thing. You're feeling disconnected. We'll give you a family. We'll tell you that you're young and beautiful and smart and talented and all that stuff. And, just write a check and get the name right.
Yeah.
It's just... contribute to my future legal defense fund, because we all know there's going to be one, right? Either as the cult leader or the politician. I don't.
As long as you agree to some basic things, it's fine. All right, we accept you, we love you. That's obviously a healthy thing. I don't know why people keep calling this a cult. Just follow simple rules. Cut off your nuts. Let me have sex with your wife. Give me all of your money, and then we're going to space for sure. 100% this time, the comment's taking us up.
Where
I don't like. I just
a glorious land of waiting for.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, if Trump thought for a moment that he could get away with saying the 72 virgins promise, he would try it. He would try it. He wouldn't even ask for that, like, to break him out. He would do it if he thought that somebody could give their life to the cause of getting him some extra candy in the prison commissary.
Yep.
He would ask people to.
Oh, he'd sell it if he was in jail and knew he wasn't getting out. He would sell his grandmother into slavery for extra pudding.
Yeah. No doubt. Do you not think that the ridiculousness is part of the appeal? Like I love Dragon Ball Z. It's a goofy Japanese cartoon. And to me, part of the deal is I turn to other people that know what it is, and I reference things in it, and we feel like a bond because we both know we're being a little bit silly, but we also know we enjoy the vibe of the thing. and we're bonding over that shared experience. I wonder if it's that, except with just this pure brain rot. Like it just fandom, literally just fandom for people who don't feel like they I don't know. I'm desperate. I'm making things up, hoping that I'll understand why you would support people that insult you by lying to you.
I'm exactly the same way. We say it on the show sometimes because we know we both have hate watchers. It's sort of, it's like, listen, you're probably not going to like everything we have to say, but at least we respect you enough not to insult your intelligence.
Yeah. I think perhaps if we're talking cultural steps, that is the next thing, is to teach people to be insulted by insults to their intelligence. You don't have to understand the specifics of a con to realize that you're being conned. And I don't know why they keep giving these people not only a pass on the insult, but then they're like continued support.
Oh yeah. Let's have some fun.
Excellent.
There are 41 counts. Some of them repeat and some of them have some variety. Now, of course, they don't all apply to Trump, and some of them you read and you kind of have an idea, oh, I think I know who this might be relating to, or count 1, violation of the Georgia RICO Act. Everybody got one of those. That was like Oprah. You get a RICO charge, and you get a RICO charge, and you get a RICO charge. Yay! Okay. Charge number 2.
Jurors, look under your seats.
Charge 2, solicitation of violation of a public oath. I'm guessing that's probably that phone call that says, I need you to find me 17,000.
Yeah.
The first one, that's probably the big one. Counts 3 and 4, false statements and writings. Counts 5, solicitation of violation of oath by a public officer. Count 6, another count of solicitation of violation of oath by a public officer. I'm guessing that's probably all those electors. Every time
I think so.
Or the Secretary of State, you do that. You take that down too. Or if there were other people on that call from the Georgia elections that they tried to get them.
The solicitations will be every step between the White House saying, I've got a great idea for treason, and it being executed or attempted. Every step along the way of the attempt.
Well, this is just asking someone for their help in attempting it.
Yes.
Not even attempting it, just asking, saying, hey, I got this good idea. Would you go there and block this process for me?
And that's such a good point you've brought up. It's specifically every time the inquiry was made, not the agreement, but the request was made. So
just asking is a no.
For Trump, Meadows, and gang to turn to the next group of people that weren't there for the germination of the idea, there's a count. And then every time one of them went out and contacted somebody else, there's another count.
Yep. Writings, charge 8, impersonating a public officer. I'm guessing someone said, I am the officially due or something like that.
Yep.
And remember, each one of these charges is not one charge, one person. Multiple people could be charged with the same one of these charges. So it's not 41 charges, 41 accomplices. There are 19. Yeah. So this one, when it says one charge, one of the charges is conspiracy to impersonate a public officer, that could be every single person that signed that document saying, I am the duly elected. Right.
Completely, yes.
That paper, yes. Public elector. Charge 9, conspiracy to impersonate a public officer. So impersonating a public officer, the conspiracy. So all you guys get together and sign this paper and say that you guys are the duly elected. That's the conspiracy.
And when that independent journalist, George, it's not Chibi, but anyway, when he came in upon them and found a group of people that tried to lie about why they were there.
Yes.
Oh,
it's
boy.
An education meeting.
That means every one of them had a consciousness of guilt. And,
yeah, they were definitely learning something.
Oh, yeah.
They were getting an education.
We just happened to be here during this time. No, we're not doing it. You don't have to look it up. You're going to look it up? Okay. I actually have to go real quick and change my name and go to a different country. Can't blame me for trying. Gotta go.
Oh man, I love this. Charge 10, forgery in the first degree. Charge 11, conspiracy to commit forgery in the first degree. I guess probably when they actually signed those papers and said, we are the actual act of applying your signature.
Yes.
Charge 12, false statements and writings. Probably all those signatures. Charge 13, conspiracy to commit false statements and writings. Everybody, we're going to put our names on this, okay? Okay.
I actually think the false statements and writings are going to apply to like when Trump was saying to Raffensperger, there was all this fraud, and
Yep.
now they will have done the investigation to be like, okay, who told you that? Nobody said that, huh? You just chose to say that. All right, that is called a lie. You lied to try to get this government employee to do something. That is a
And you
false
put it in
statement
writing
we're
when you
charging.
circulated that document about how we could all sign those
Yeah.
papers.
Yeah.
To say we are who we're not.
Yeah. And any time they wrote an email to one of those fake electors telling them, no, this is totally legit, but it wasn't legit, that's a false statement. Yeah.
As well. Yes. Okay. So, yes. Charge 14, criminal attempt to file false documents. So when they mailed those
Yes.
things and said, we are the duly elected.
Wild.
Oh, man. Charge 16, forgery in the first degree. Charge 17, another count of conspiracy to commit forgery in the first degree. 18, another count of false statements and writings. 19, another conspiracy to commit false statements and writings. Count 20, criminal attempt to commit influencing witnesses. As above the fifth column says, that one should be interesting. Charge 21, another criminal attempt to commit influencing witnesses. Charge 22, criminal attempts to commit false statements and writing. Charge 23, solicitation of violation of oath by public officer. Charges 24 and 25, false statements and writings, as well as 26. Charge 27, filing false documents. Charge 28, solicitation of violation of oath by public officer. Charge 29, more false statements and writings. There's a lot of fibbing going on. Charge 30, conspiracy to commit solicitation of false statements and writings. So conspiracy to get somebody, to ask somebody to make false statements and writings. That should be cool. Charge 31, influencing witnesses. And just a reminder that in Georgia, influencing witnesses is a determining factor in pretrial release. And since these are all charges that have 5 years minimum, 20 years max.
And can we hang out there for a moment? Donald Trump has already called out witnesses by name. And he has acknowledged in the posts that they were witnesses. And he said that he literally said they should not testify. This is after a DC judge, Tanya Chutkan, specifically told him not to do that. That was a condition of his pretrial release. Boy.
So like a child again. Okay, so Judge Chutkan, so if I start insulting DA Fani Willis out on the state case in Georgia, that's okay, right? Because I'm not pressing the specific button you didn't tell me to press, because it's not your case, right?
Here's the thing. If you commit a crime while you are on parole, it doesn't matter if the judge didn't specifically say Simon Says. The judge is trying to help you by laying out examples of crimes you could do. But any crime is sufficient. And she did specifically call out witness tampering. So the question that has been, I think, slightly eclipsed by the actual action taken in Georgia is, okay, Tanya Chutkan, here's your first big test. What does your word mean? You said if he does this thing, there's going to be consequences. He just did it.
Yeah, but he's going to go back and say, I didn't do it for your case.
Oh, yeah.
This is so unfair.
Yeah. He'll always say some nonsense. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just have a little comment from Mademoiselle Fox. Aside from the important political stuff, Douglas, could you be cuter in that hat? What? No,
it's true.
No, I couldn't actually. Thank you. I love our kids. Charge 31, more influencing witnesses. Charge 32, conspiracy to commit election fraud. Charge 33, conspiracy to commit election fraud. And now here's where things get interesting. Charge 34, conspiracy to commit computer theft. Charge 35, conspiracy to commit computer trespass. Charge 36, conspiracy to commit computer invasion of privacy. That's when they took all those voting machines, shades of Watergate. There actually was a break-in. They took the voting machines from some counties all the way to Coffee County, where Trump won, like with 70% of the vote, and then opened up all the machines and scanned everything.
And to get them, they lied. They lied to government officials, leaving a blazing trail the entire way. Paperwork, emails, photos from the press, waving like idiots to the press. Yep. Blazing trail, very easy to track.
Charge 37, conspiracy to defraud the state. Charge 38, solicitation of violation of oath by a public officer. Charge 39, false statements in writings. Charge 40, false statements in writing. And charge 41, perjury, which does not, for some reason, apply to Trump. He wasn't charged with that one yet, probably because he hasn't testified yet or hasn't been in court open long to open his mouth enough to commit it. Although when he does say not guilty, I guess technically that's perjury. I'm not sure. Anyway.
Look, man, they had 2 grand juries so far look into this. A lot of times to be under oath. Mark Meadows is named in this thing, but Mark Meadows has been real silent.
Mm-hmm.
I think we might have a sense of who got the perjury hit there. Or wait, no, who actually, they say it right there. Who did get the perjury hit? I just had this open. Anyway, it wouldn't surprise me to find out that's the lawyers lied.
These are not very smart people.
No.
They're really not that smart.
No.
I'll use Trump's line against him. They're not sending us their brightest.
They're committing crimes. They're trying to oversteal elections. And some of them, I'm sure, are nice people.
Yeah. Could we just appreciate?
I'm not so sure about that.
Who is that? The gal, the young lawyer, the lady named Elaine, was it? It's killing me that I've lost track of where I had the indictment up. Well, whatever the lady's name is, and I'll get corrected by smarter people soon. Oh, here it is. But regardless, how crazy is it that she was not disbarred? They had a disbarment hearing for her after all this Trump stuff.
Oh, the lady that was representing all the electors?
I think, yes, I believe so. And just telling lies on Fox. She represented Trump for a while, and she didn't get disbarred, but she's named in an indictment for her actions where she was acting as an attorney. So we have established now that the United States Bar Association is willing to tolerate behavior that you can get indicted for and allow you to keep your license to practice law. Boy, we might have to have another look at that soon.
The perjury charge was Robert David Cheeley, who is a new name to me.
That's not ringing a bell to me either. Darn it. Darn it. I really wanted Meadows.
Oh, that would have been really sweet, wouldn't it?
Oh, God.
Be right back.
Let's see here. Little known lawyer, Trump ally draws scrutiny in Georgia.
Jenna Ellis. Jenna Ellis is who
Jenna
I was
Ellis?
thinking. Sorry.
That's who you were thinking of?
Disbarred. Yes. Sorry. It was killing me.
Okay. Yes. I cannot find any information for him. Should be pretty easy to find out who he is. Robert David Cheeley.
Let me
He's
pass
in New
you
York.
something. This is the best. I'll maybe I can't drop it in your chat, Well, it's called insurrectionindex.org. And there are so many damn traitors in this country that there's now an entire website dedicated to tracking them. You said Robert Chile? Chile?
Chile, yeah. Cheeley.
Eley. Oh, I actually do know this fella, and I'm disappointed that he's not listed.
It says here in the New York Times, after Mr. Giuliani's testimony, a like-minded Georgia lawyer named Robert Chile presented video clips of election workers handing ballots at the State Farm Arena in downtown Atlanta. Mr. Chile spent 15 minutes laying out specious assertions that the workers were double and triple counting votes, saying their actions should, quote, shock the conscience of every red-blooded Georgian, and likening what he said had happened to the 1941 attack on Pearl Harbor. So this is all the Ruby Freeman, Shea Moss stuff.
Yeah.
Lying about them.
Yeah. And possibly, if for those that don't recall, possibly involved in that attempt to draw them out to in public. They tried to a group of Trump supporters in a creepily coordinated manner tried to get those two to meet them in a police station parking lot. And in and of itself, I hope that is being charged.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing here, the other thing that's interesting about Georgia, because everything is open court, and one of the reasons for which the judges might be a little more eager to apply restrictions on the big mouth is because open court means that once the indictment is unsealed, the names of the people on the grand jury become public as well.
Yeah.
We don't, for Canadians who might not be familiar, in Georgia, the grand jury process starts with 23 jurors, 16 who must be present to hear the entirety of the evidence, and 12 must vote on the bills. Fani Willis presented 10 different bills that would lead to these charges, and you either vote bill or no bill.
Yeah.
There were no votes of no bill. All 10 that she presented were accepted by the grand jury to move forward.
Based on
charges,
how long
indictment.
This has taken, you might think that it's a terribly difficult case to prove. I will remind everyone that the main guy is recorded doing one of the crimes. So it doesn't surprise me, but that's really, really delightful to hear and well summarized. Yeah, 10 out of 10, literally, for Fani Willis.
Yeah, which means that she prepared things very well.
Yes.
And presented them in a convincing manner.
She did national level work.
Now, at this stage, it's just preponderance of evidence that there is reasonable basis for a charge.
Yeah. I mean, it's not nothing.
It's not guilt beyond her.
But yes, it's not the same as it's not a guilty verdict. All the people and the government have agreed to is that there enough things happened that we ought to have an official conversation about it where it's illegal to lie. That's basically it.
Yep. And you think that would be rather clear?
Yeah.
Already. You would think.
Genuinely is a concern that it took this long. I don't blame Fani Willis. Should not be blamed at all. She did national level work with county level resources. That's astounding. But once we're sure we're not going to get a coup that's going to require you guys to come save us, we're going to have to have a conversation about why Merrick Garland waited a full year, why it was literally not permitted on Merrick Garland's order to say Trump's name amongst the investigators. Our fourth or fifth safety measure kicked in to stop the meltdown, but we can't be like, oh, good, so it's working great. No.
Yeah.
We should never know if the fourth or fifth safety measure works. We should never know. And it sucks that we do. Glad it worked. But boy, 1 through 3 really got to get looked at.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Mr. Grizzly's having some interesting visuals.
Look, let's join the brother in
He's
unity. At
sideways
least.
and seemingly frozen.
Oh, damn.
There, how's that? Does that work better?
It's good.
Yeah,
It's good.
Better?
Yep.
I don't know what's going on. I'm just trying to do this off my phone. So
It's pissing me off that you have a smoother show when you're running it off your phone than I do with all of my powers available to me. It's a humbling experience.
That's what happens when you bring on a genius.
It's fair.
We have some comments from the kits here. Kit Jake, Frank says Jake has an awesome podcast voice.
Hey, I'll
And then
take it.
you too, Paul.
Oh, thanks.
Facts.
And I guess I'm just here.
These are facts.
No. They're the voices. I'm the pretty face.
There you go. I like that.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes it gets boring being the smart one. I like to be the dumb pretty one every now and then too.
Oh,
Sure.
Being the smart one's a burden, man.
that's a hell of a flex. I'm stealing that. People are
like, oh, damn, I have to be the responsible one again.
Oh, if people ever
Can I just sit here in the corner and look cute?
Why are you wearing that jacket? Why are you wearing those pants? Because I get sick of being the smart one. That's good.
I'm going undercover.
Yeah, going undercover.
Everybody play dumb, try to blend in.
I'm going undercover as hot. Don't tell anybody the truth, for God's sake. If they're falling for it, just let me have it. One day, for God's sake.
Oh man!
Amidst all of this, I'm also quasi babysitting my nephew. He's staying with me, and I'm not
hello, nephew.
Yeah, and my entire life, my poor sister, who is younger than me, despite our respective behaviors, I've been of no use to her, and I was so excited to be like, "Hey, you're pregnant with baby number 2. Let me take care of the big chief. I got him." And then Trump went ahead and got himself indicted again, and I was like, "I'm real sorry. Here's your baby back. Love you, sis." Next time, when she's pregnant with child number 3, I'll for sure be a half useful brother.
Oh man, I don't know if I have too much more on
sharp, my brother,
on the orange one today, because I did have to go to bed at some point because I've been
Eventually,
on fewer than 3 hours because it came out late.
It gets a little exhausting, right?
Yeah. But I had a couple of other things I wanted to run by you since you were here, Jake.
Oh, hit me.
Yes. From BNN Bloomberg. A state judge ruled Monday that Montana's oil and gas policies are infringing on young people's constitutional rights to a safe environment, handing a big win to youth climate plaintiffs that will likely reverberate across the legal landscape. An adjustment to the Montana Energy Policy Alert, or MEPA, which limits environmental factors that must be considered for project permitting, violates rights to a safe environment enshrined in Montana's Constitution, according to Judge Kathy Seeley of the Lewis and Clark County District Court in Helena, Montana. Quote, "I think this is the strongest decision on climate change ever issued by any court," according to Michael Gerard, director of Columbia Law School's Sabin Center for Climate Change Law. Montana is one of only 3 states that have an affirmative right to a healthy environment in their constitutions. That legal language was a cornerstone in the Held versus Montana youth case, which had young people testify directly about climate impacts upending their lives. Quote, "Putting a human face on this global problem worked well in this courtroom and may well be followed elsewhere," Gerard said in an email. This legal theory has been thrown out of federal court and courts in more than a dozen states, says a spokeswoman for Montana Attorney General Austin Knudsen, who says that the ruling's absurd and says that she will appeal the decision. "It should have been here as well, but they found an ideological judge who bent over backward to allow the case to move forward and earn herself a spot in the next documentary." Of course, because nobody could possibly be making a decision just based on the evidence and the law, and everybody clearly wants to just be famous.
And I can't stress enough that's like the whataboutism is insane. The I am rubber, you are glue-ness of conservatives are insane. For the record, there's two ways to look at it. If you're hoping that this means that the world's largest polluter will quit polluting, unfortunately, negative. If you're hoping that this decision will stand for any length of time that will make an impact, negative. It's simply going to get taken to the Supreme Court where it will be killed. But how quietly they are allowed to do that, and this is the way to understand, if you want to, what this insane hillbilly neighbor of yours will do next. How quietly they're allowed to kill this bill, which will be killed. But how quietly they're allowed to do it will change, number one, how brazenly they do it, because there's different ways they can take this thing down. They can eliminate some, yada, yada. And two, it will decide what else they try to get away with. And if you're looking at this the same way as international politics, as Bo would say, the card game where everybody's cheating, the opportunity here is less for the less for the legal decision and more for the opportunity to show how we feel about that legal decision. So, number one, in the basics, it's good. Don't fall in love with it, because this cow is an eaten cow. But it's an opportunity above all else. And it's only an opportunity that will be of benefit to us if, God help us all, if for the first time in its history, America has learned a lesson about something.
Now, it seems that there's a push in 15 other states to establish affirmative climate rights, and people are hoping that this ruling will help with that.
Lefties,
lawyers for the legal nonprofit Our Children's Trust spearheaded the case and lauded the sweeping Monday victory in Montana, saying, "Today, for the first time in U.S. history, a court ruled on the merits of a case that the government violated the constitutional rights of children through laws and actions that promote fossil fuels, ignore climate change, and disproportionately imperil young people."
Yes. Do you remember when? I mean, of course you remember, but like, y'all remember when Grizz let that blockading trucker have what for? That attitude is the left is picking that up, and first of all, that's the correct attitude, and second of all, every year where lefties are refining that more and more and more into actual strategy that we can pursue long term, and it's good to see. It does also mean though that I mean, this is the first time I've actually seen an aggressive left, by which I mean actually pursuing goals and not just like whining from afar. So we're going to lose a hell of a lot before we start winning. But I mean, the good news is there's no choice. The cavalry's coming to join us, fellas. Unfortunately, it's going to be because they're running from, I just assume, a wall of fire. Whatever's next summer.
Yep. Yeah, I hear you. For me, when you're talking about the left needs to be a little more aggressive, it's we showed a clip the other day of like two ladies that stopped at a Ron DeSantis stop in Iowa, like this, and they were wearing T-shirts called "Bitches Get Stuff Done," like this, and she got a megaphones, "Go back to Florida, go back to Florida," and then some man tries to step to her, "Get the fuck away from me," until the guy goes away, right? Like this, and it's just like, yeah. It's for me, my favorite saying of lately has been, whenever I see one of these stupid things on, one person on Twitter was like saying, we need to, that whole charter stuff, like we need to defund public schools and start putting that money into like schools that teaches religious based education or don't teach evolution because we don't like that or something. And it's like, no, go away.
Yeah.
it's just, no, go away.
Yeah.
We're not having it. No.
If
there's
you're
nothing
right,
else.
if you're right, act like it. I mean, if you genuinely believe you're morally in the right, if you've actually thought about these, act like it. For some reason, I've seen now multiple generations of folks that believe in these wild ideas, like just nobody should freeze to death in the street. But like, there's
Crazy, eh?
this, yeah, I know, and there's a built-in like apologetic nature to it. Like, when we're like, I'm just saying, if you'll just hear me out, like we have to bow and scrape to people who's pitching the opposite. What's the opposite? Let them freeze. Why are we the ones that are embarrassed to say, like, oh, I just want this human being to live? The Grizz attitudes, it's got to spread. It's got to spread.
Yep. Other news, it came out in the news recently that while Jack Smith was searching warrants, getting warrants and all that kind of stuff, he obtained a warrant to search Donald J. Trump's Twitter.
I saw that.
Now, everybody's wondering, like, why does he want Donald Trump's Twitter? He put everything up there. Well, there may have been unsent drafts in the draft folder. There might be DMs. What are the patterns of use? And did anybody else have access to his account to post stuff, or was he posting all that stuff exactly himself?
What location?
Twitter did not. Yes. Now, Twitter did not comply with the order right away. They were first charged a $350,000 fine for contempt, but eventually, 3 days after the imposed deadline, did give up the information. I believe that there was a fine that was like a certain amount one day, and then more the next day, and then more the next day until they complied. And it took about 3 days for Elon to say, "Cry uncle."
Grizz, for every day you don't give me your fully grown beard, I'm going to fine you 1/100th of a cent. And I don't want to alarm you, but I'm actually going to raise the price every day by 1/100th of a cent until you agree to give me the entirety of your beard. And if you don't pay it, I will do nothing.
Okay, that seems reasonable.
You are being objectified.
That's okay.
Sorry.
I don't mind.
Hey,
look,
learned
if it
it
helps
from
the
the U.S.
cause.
government. That's how the U.S. government threatens a billionaire. Like,
well,
right.
You'll have to check with Bridget first, because
Let me.
I do not want to see that beard again.
Yeah, there you go.
That was fast.
It worked. First of all, the man can work either style. Second of all, to fully complete the impression, I forgot. What I should do is then write you a check compensating you for the 2/2 of a cent that I charge you over 20 years.
Okay, I can accept.
But then
that.
remember, there's the currency exchange, right? So we still end up winning.
Yeah.
So that's like $100 Canadian, right?
Oh.
Yay me!
He thinks that that's a bad deal, Mr. Grizzly. Little does he know we have the exchange rate.
Look, hey, I'm going into court later for a traffic ticket. Would you mind, real quick, picking the judges who are going to decide how my traffic ticket goes? Well, we're at it. Sorry, we're quite corrupt.
Oh man. Actually, I did have a couple of other things about the guy, because now, if you think that Fonnie Willis is like some junior person, who's like sort of new at this.
I got to jump for a second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Apologies. Work.
Sort of new at this. Yep. Sort of new at this and all that kind of stuff. This is her 11th RICO case she's bringing since she's become a DA. So she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
And even though Trump is only charged with 13 of the 41 counts, his name appears in the indictment 193 times.
Are you kidding me?
Now, oh no, I'm not kidding you. And where it comes to Judge Tanya Chutkan, that's the DC case. He had his first courtroom session with her, because before he had only seen the magistrate.
Yes.
Before, because it's a big courthouse and there's a lot of stuff going on. And they were discussing a motion where, for setting the date and all that kind of stuff, whereas judges are going, well, this trial is going to interfere with our client's campaign. And, because the part they didn't say, of course, because our client is a one-man crime spree.
Yeah.
He has so many court cases. There's absolutely nothing on the election calendar that won't conflict with any court case. To which Judge Tanya Chutkan basically said something like, the fact that he is running a political campaign has to yield to the orderly administration of justice. And she actually referred to him running for president as his day job. Just like any other
Yes.
defendant. And she
Yes.
says that a lot, just like any other defendant. A lot she says that. Says, your day job cannot interfere. No. It's not that the administration of justice cannot interfere with your day job just because you're running for president. That's your day job. Your day job cannot interfere with the running of my court. So you make it
Yes.
work.
It's so beautiful to hear. And I've heard that kind of slightly sassy attitude of a judge so often. And they're right, by the way, because it's usually somebody who's like, hey, I know that you've accused me of a serious crime, but I want to go on behaving as though I didn't do it, which was my plan this whole time. And yeah, they got to step up. But the judge has to step up and say, well, of course you can't do that. We need to. Okay. But the fact that Trump has not ever faced a consequence that I'm aware of.
He has nothing in his life history that lets him that
Yeah.
sends him the message that if I press the button only this much, well, something this time something will.
He cannot process what this means. Like the judge just told him directly, hey, this is a firm line. If you cross it, you're in trouble. And now he's crossed it. I truly don't think he has the development, the developmental history built up to process what's about to happen to him. And I just can't wait for the meltdown. I cannot wait for the meltdown.
Me too. And
I'm sending him apples. I'm telling him to jog, to keep his heart and arteries clean, because I need this man. I need this man to make it to the jail cell.
Yes, me too. And then with regard to all those little things that he's been doing to threaten and intimidate, now apparently, right, he made those first statements, that first tweet, if you come after me, I'm coming after you. And then he was told to come in. And then I guess he met with her Friday. And then he went out and made those statements about Fani Willis instead. Let me attack the DA in another case then, as if the judge won't see him doing that in another case, and said that she had some relationships with some gang members, which led Fani Willis to say, you have until tomorrow, 5 p.m. to come in court with some evidence to that, or else, Lordy, there might be more charges.
Yep.
I don't know where that one stands.
Can I just real quick clarify that? Because that one pisses me off.
Yep.
For the record, Fani Willis, not when she was a prosecutor, which is what he said, but when she was a defense attorney, one of her clients was a guy accused of criminal things. Sure. They keep saying she had an inappropriate relationship with him. Now, to you, what does that imply? A sexual relationship, I assume?
You would assume first, yes.
That's what I hear when I hear inappropriate relationship. The thing he's referring to is the fact that the client of hers said that she was very much like an aunt to him. She was very much like a avuncular, and guided him, and was a moral point of reference for him. That's the inappropriate relationship he's talking about. This freaking scum.
But he turned it into
a gross scandal. Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely gross. So, Judge Tanya Chutkan, quote, I cautioned you and your clients to take special care in your public statements about this case. I will take whatever measures necessary to safeguard the integrity of these proceedings. Even arguably ambiguous statements from parties or their counsel, if they can be reasonably interpreted to intimidate witnesses or prejudice potential jurors, can threaten the process. And the closing line the swish, swish, bish, nothing but net line, because we all know that Trump's goal is to delay this as much as possible.
Yep.
The more a party makes inflammatory statements about this case, which could taint the jury pool, the greater the urgency will be that we proceed to trial quickly.
There it is. Hit him.
She's
Hit him where it
literally
hurts.
linked his big mouth to the speediness of the trial, the thing he cares about most.
Genuine thing I'm wondering here is if his jackass strategy was before any dates are set, and therefore before any dates can be moved up, I'm going to say all the evil things I was planning on saying. I honestly don't know. It doesn't really matter. But it's just wild to me that we didn't even get to the part where she can move up his punishment. I can't fathom that this is going to go unaddressed
or detain him more.
Yeah, honestly, at this point, there is something to be said for just ripping the Band-Aid off and saying, like, this guy is obviously a danger, and by pretending that he is not, we are making the situation more dangerous. We need to show the world, the public, the seriousness of the situation by putting him in a jail cell. Easy way to make sure he doesn't reveal incriminating information about the case. Treat him like you would any other prisoner, any other accused, I should say. Treat him like you would anybody else accused of this stuff. Are they tampering with the case? Are they endangering people's lives? Are they doxing people? Are they making a mockery of the system? Well, gosh, maybe revoke that bail.
We have Kit Tabby D going to retweets count because it seems that
they certainly should. They do.
Seems that his new technical thing is, I didn't tweet it. I just clipped a screen cap of something that somebody else tweeted and then tweeted or truthed it or whatever it is.
Yeah, he's been doing that since Q. Yeah.
Again, too cute by half. But after she told him, your big mouth can make this trial go faster,
I think
he then went out and said, how about this? Is this okay?
What about louder and more obnoxious? What about that?
If I tweeted in all caps, will you be convinced?
Can you just imagine? He gets up on stand and he testifies and he says the things he's been ranting at every speech. Can you just imagine if the judge was like, well, I never thought of it like that. Not guilty. Turns out it was a perfect phone call. We've been fools. All of us. I didn't realize. Perfect phone call. Great. By the way, have you noticed this guy keeps the idiot? He's overestimated the American people now. He keeps mentioning Ukraine over and over. But if you were to ask the average citizen, God help me, what his first impeachment was about, I bet you, they wouldn't be able to tell you. And the only thing he's accomplished recently politically that I've seen is to remind everybody that the massive, massive problem we have in Ukraine currently with Russia invading and the down the line effects of that, including a grain shortage around the world, is partially his fault. It's amazing how spectacularly this is all falling apart.
Yeah,
I'm here for it. The destruction.
It seems that in his social media post Monday, this is according to PBS, Trump quoted from remarks Chutkan made in a 2022 sentencing hearing for Christine Priola, an Ohio woman who pleaded guilty last year to obstructing Congress's certification of Biden's electoral victory, one of the same charges Trump is facing. Quote, the people who mobbed that Capitol were there in fealty and loyalty to one man, not the Constitution of which most of the people who come before me seem woefully ignorant, not to the ideals of this country and not to the principles of democracy. It's blind loyalty to one person who, by the way, remains free to this day. So I'm guessing he took that clip and basically whined that she's an anti-Trump judge and she has an anti-Trump husband who has anti-Trump children who drive an anti-Trump tricycle who have anti-Trump stuffed animals.
I mean, I just call them Americans, but yeah. Jesus God. It's about to be an anti-Trump world. Boy.
He's a Trump hating judge.
The thing is, all right. So on that, it is first of all, it's very funny to me that he thinks he's just made like a stone cold case against her. But in all seriousness, what terrifies me is that he reveals his strategy here. Would that fly in a courtroom? No, of course not. He's citing another judge's decision after looking at facts. That legally, that's a terrible case. The scary thing is he's not pursuing a legal strategy. He's pursuing a coup two strategy.
Yeah. Yeah. And it seems that even Trump's lawyers are getting into trouble because Trump's lawyers keep on going, oh, well, gee, we possibly could not meet that request by that date. And then the judge turned around and says, dude, I'm paraphrasing here. This is not a quote. It's like, I possibly could not. There's no way. That's so much work. As it breaks out the nail file and is like, yeah, dude, I got TV. I saw you on Meet the Press, Face the Nation, State of the Union, Inside Politics, Sunday Morning with George Stephanopoulos.
Busy guy.
I saw you. If you got time to prepare appearances on all those shows, perhaps you should have put that time in preparing those documents for this courtroom.
I mean, we are literally...
No delay.
We are literally at the point where the judge is having to say no more TV time for you.
He's going like this. Well, we need to figure out our strategy. It's like, I just watched you. You laid it all out on the Sunday shows. You said that you were going to do this, and this. So, I mean, you already know it. Put it down on paper and get it to me at my bench.
Giuliani, we're taking your iPad. Go to your room. Go to your room. I didn't want to do this. You made us do a court order. Go to your room for 10 to 20 years.
Less TV, more judicial filings. And suddenly you'll have lots of free time, I'm sure. Basically is what the judge said.
Yes.
Can you this is too good.
There's a very real possibility that the most just consider this for a second. We saw Trump's presidential schedule. It was mostly something he called executive time, which I assume was just playing Call of Duty with the boys. Trump might very well be put into the U.S. prison system, which has no shyness about exploiting prisoners for free labor. I guess what I'm saying is, in making license plates, it's entirely possible that Trump will actually do more work for the government post-presidency than when he was the leader of the entire country.
Okay. Hear me out. I'll make the license plates, but just not ones for Florida or New York. Okay?
They can't know. They'll sense my hands were near them. I can't take the shame. I'll do California. Don't make me do Florida. Just watching him break down with his teeny tiny hands trying to cover his big swollen face. Imagine what he won't be able to wear his hair special. He won't have tanning solutions. He won't be able to have the product. He won't have the product. He won't. I can't really.
Because that spray net can with the lighter. It's the flavor. No, he can't have that. And they're certainly not going to let him bring a moose into.
What's the prison wine version of fake tan? How do you listen to me? You got to go to the commissary. You got to get a lot of Nutella, like a lot more, buddy. Eric, I like a lot more.
Hello, this is Geraldo Rivera for Newsmax. Today we finally get to see what color Trump really is. Everybody's been wondering, but he's been in jail now for 3 months. He's only got 1 hour of sunlight per day, maximum. Yeah. Let's see what color he really is.
Hannity, crab walking into the prison. Everything's fine here. Go ahead, search me. I'm cool.
Oh, we got some ramen seasoning, turmeric powder,
He's just
orange Kool-Aid.
yeah, orange Kool-Aid, the ramen. He's mixing it up. He's like, "Come on, baby, give me the magic." Oh, the neo-Nazis are recruiting, and Daddy's got to join something.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if you went to jail and even the white supremacists in jail didn't want it? Says, you can't sit at this table. Sorry, this seat is taken.
They end up, oh God, it's so much worse. They end up liking Stephen Miller more than him, and he gets jealous. Oh, yes, I want that, please. I want that. Like,
wait, we have this thing in Canada. I don't know if you have it. The candy called Fun Dip.
Oh yeah.
It's just like these 2 packs of sort of like little Kool-Aid with a little stick. Look, I just see him like in the stick. Apply, blend.
Oh God.
My friend Caitlin taught me this one. Blend.
Of course, he's still hanging out with Caitlin. Wait, the topic of conversation.
She was on TV yesterday. He was like, I was like, is anybody listening to you, sister? Seriously.
God, I hope not, for her sake. At this point,
it's like the Republicans hate you because you're trans, and the rest of the trans community hate you because you betrayed them.
Yeah, because you're terrible.
Because you're a terrible human being.
And the pedestrian community hates you for entirely different reasons, but they're equally as valid. The topic of conversation is, how do you get Trump accessories like body tan and hair product and what have you? How do you achieve the Trump look in prison? What is the toilet
saving
line
the
version?
plastic forks for the scaffolding?
He walks out to visit with Tiffany, and there's just clearly ramen draped on his head. Tiff, how you doing? Seeing Papa?
The dream, the impossible dream.
What's Trump's version of the butterfly he lets go? It's got to be like a filthy sewer rat. Oh.
Go get me some pizza. Go, pizza rat, go. I haven't had a taco bowl in 3 years. Bring me back some KFC.
Pizza rat. I like that one. That's good. That's a good one. Write it down. It's a good one.
Rat, you're my only friend. It's gonna be like from Castaway when he loses Wilson. Pizza rat.
He sees like a hawk in it.
Whoa.
Oh, you were my only friend. You were such a good listener. Such a good listener.
Oh,
never
God.
Interrupted me.
I'm pretty sure you were dead.
Always gave me the extra pepperoni.
Oh, you remind me of Rudy. Mostly in the face.
We're going to hell. We're enjoying this way.
We'll be in good company, so it's okay.
Oh yeah, I look forward to it. 5 minutes later, Trump will be there. I'll be like, surprise, mother. I'm gonna fold your clothes.
Oh, what, you thought we wouldn't be here too?
I mean, to be fair, a lot of your allies predicted this. And given that I'm not too terribly worried about offending the devil, I'm gonna fold your clothes now while you're wearing them.
To be fair,
it's paradise.
That's me walking in, guys. Hey, bitches, I got mimosas. Hey, what are you complaining about? They're orange.
Trump.
You know he's not going to do any hard time at all. He'll be in one of those executive first class. Basically, it's a resort for him because he can't go into anything that would have any sort. He's going to have a secret service protection detail. So he'll be in one of those Club Fed, they call it, right, where they have a golf course and a lake, and
I think you know what? I think he's going. I think he will not be able to run his mouth enough, and he will just piss off someone. And say, you know what? Just F it, man. Some of these crimes are really, really bad, and a lot of them have a bias towards imprisonment. Some of those document cases.
Oh yeah.
There's national security documents that you willfully retained, then obstructed, then got your buddies to move. As the lawyer said, okay, we're coming then. And then you turn around and say, okay, guys, Hey guys, how did it go? Did you get everything?
I can't.
Good.
Yeah.
like seriously. I mean, come on, man.
I
This
honestly,
guy literally, and if they, I mean, there's already some dissemination we know from Bedminster, and if we find out that any of them along the way were sold, I guess you have to go in. They have to build like a special wing for you or something like this, where your Secret Service can go and make sure that you don't Epstein yourself. I guess, but I mean,
we should be
you
so
have
lucky.
to go in.
So there is a technical answer to this, and we draw upon other politicians who have been in prison. He would honestly probably be put in a military base in the brig, because at the end of the day, he is under the government's protection. That seems to be
military base in the brig.
Oh, sorry, I just heard someone handsome.
That was me.
Yeah, I'm sure this guy can't go to general population with everything he said about people of different races.
He can't.
First of all,
no, for a million reasons he can't. Like,
yeah. I don't think,
but for that alone,
I don't think that's a big problem in prison. I feel like there's a pretty decent population of folks who have said an awful lot of rough things. But I mean, you're right. He cannot, no, he simply can't do that. That would be, even I, who would laugh as it happened, as he got shanked 1,000 times. I'd cackle, but I don't want that to happen. It is our responsibility, his safety, and you simply can't put a president in Gen Pop. But a base, yes, a military base is a reasonable thing.
I hadn't thought of that possibility. Okay, there's another thing I want to run by you, Jake, because we talked about it on the show, but you weren't here. Ohio, oh. Issue 1,
yes,
the vote. When we came on, it was 60 to 40. It ended up 57, I think, to 43. I was kind of liking that it was the 60 because that was the number they were trying to avoid people being able to reach in the first place.
Yeah.
But yes, the Republicans stuck in a special election, changing the rules of the game in the middle to try and change the vote threshold for the late October, I think it is, vote on adding constitutional protections for the right to choose in the state of Ohio after it had tried to pass a law, a 6-week abortion law, which the courts have put a stay on while this is being resolved. They were also trying to change the rules that if you wanted to put a measure on the ballot, right now you have to get a minimum number of signatures in 44 of the 88 counties. Now you had to get a certain minimum of signatures in all of the 88 counties. So that was another thing. So they're making it harder to get a ballot on the measure to vote. And then once you did vote, they were basically asking people, as Bo of the Fifth Column said, hey, we who want to be your rulers, not your people of the people selected by the people to rule the people according to the will of the people. We want to be your rulers. So whenever you guys want to put something on the ballot to make a constitutional change, how about we make it harder for you to make that pass? So that more often, and still 40-something% voted for that. So I'd be happily surrender my rights to have a say on the constitutional amendment to you. I would gladly make it harder for me, raise the threshold for myself as a citizen to get a constitutional change that I want to 60% rather than 50. For any constitutional change whatsoever, any and all things. And it seems that now that they failed, they're basically going to come back and they're going to try it again because apparently the voter just wasn't intelligent enough to understand apparently what it is that they forgot to vote for this time around. $26 million was spent on ads. $15.9 million by Democrats, $10.7 for Republicans. Most of the money came from out of state. But it seems that they did vote no to that, so it's still 50%, and that vote will be coming in November on abortion. But Ohio just turned it around, and now we have a situation that in every one of the 6 states in the United States where there's been a statewide vote on abortion since the Supreme Court of the United States overturned Roe versus Wade, whether that be in Michigan, Montana, Kansas, Kentucky, California, or Vermont, people have voted in favor of choice.
Yeah, they like freedom.
Imagine that.
Why on earth did we blow up all those redcoats if we're just going to remake royalty? What was the point? What was the point of any of this? I would ask if we do have folks of the Republican voting persuasion listening. Why is it, do you reckon, that they wanted to give less power to the people? Why do you think that might be? Just ask yourself that. I think it might be related to the same reason they feel comfortable lying to you. And I would argue, if you keep supporting a party that regularly lies to you and regularly tries to make you structurally within our government less powerful, stop.
And it was really underhanded. Apparently, there's this thing in Ohio where we don't have special ballot measures in August because it's super low voter turnout time. And there
As
hasn't
of
been
this
one
year.
in 100 years.
Yeah.
But this year, they decided to not only sneak one in before, but let's put it in August, where we're expecting the lowest voter turnout possible to increase our chances of winning.
After Republicans specifically recommended getting rid of such an election.
Yes.
They said, oh, but before we go, let's close the door behind us and get one last opportunity to people over.
Pretty much.
On the election spending, there's an interesting story there, to a little hint of the future. Notice that Democrats outspent Republicans.
Yes.
So that's actually a pretty rare thing. Normally,
Yes.
Democrats are always trying to hold a dollar, and Republicans are just, they can flood the airwaves. Here's the thing: what small dollar donors the GOP had are being drained by Trump for his legal defense, and the big dollar donors don't really know what to do, and they don't care about this kind of thing. So the Republican Party is already in financial dire straits. It's not a very big story because look what just happened yesterday, but it's going to become more and more relevant. And if people run, as it looks like people are going to be running all over this country, you can expect then that there are going to be races the Republican Party just straight gives up on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to that. We're talking, you'll start seeing rumors of that early next year.
Well, there are some rules that McConnell, for the next federal election, in certain Senate races where the Republicans probably could win if they put tons of money in it, but because they have all these Trumpy candidates, it seems that McConnell has decided he's not putting money in those. He's just putting those money in 2 or 3 states to get him just to 51, and is hoping that will work, even though they have a chance for maybe 53 or 54. He said, nope, you got a Trumpy wackadoodle candidate. I'm putting all my money on the ones where we have normal people, either former bankers or former military people.
I don't have proof of this, but my gut instinct, it's the poker game where everybody's lying. I don't think McConnell right then was taking a principled stance. I don't think he was thinking we're not going to support. I think he was looking at the money that's coming in versus the money that's going out and thinking, how expensive is this going to be next year? We can't afford all these people. So on my limited budget, I'm going to only support the people who will keep this grift going, not the people that are burning it down. I think that was his calculation. And I think it was tactically the right one, even if he is, in fact, the actual devil.
Yep, absolutely. Wow. There's just so much going on. It's incredible.
Go ahead.
No, I'm trying to think if I had one more thing here on this list. The Ohio thing was the big other thing.
Can I drop the part I'm on with the part I'm stuck on with the indictment?
Yes, please.
Okay. On or about the 7th day of December 2020, unindicted co-conspirator, individual 2, whose identity is known to the grand jury, but not to your old pal Jake, sent an email to Robert David Cheeley and David James Schaefer that stated, Bob, can you get on a call with David Schaefer, state GOP chair, and I later this morning to discuss? David has been on top of a lot of efforts in the state. Yada, hold on. Blah, blah, blah. This was an overt act in furtherance of the conspiracy. Okay, so they mention unindicted co-conspirator number 2 on a first name basis with Cheely and Schaefer. And where's the last little hint we got? So he was on a board call, or he or she. The thing that is so interesting to me about that is that you can probably figure out who unindicted co-conspirator individual 2 is there, just through those context clues. I'm not smart enough. I can't hold all the information in my head at once. I haven't been able to figure out in the last couple of hours. But any answer you can give to that is going to be fucking bad. I did successfully edit that, but it was close. I'm not going to play with it anymore. It is going to be fascinating. Whoever that is going to be just fascinating because they are incredibly powerful. They were involved in the conspiracy, and why aren't they indicted? That is the question. So that's a it's a mundane chunk of it, but
So
I
could it
have
be
a feeling.
one of those 30
Yes.
unindicted? I think
Yes.
you might be.
It is.
Hold on, let me think about it. Hold on. I think. Oh darn! There's a lawyer. I thought his name was Bob, but maybe not. Woodward.
Blah, blah, blah.
I read his law blog. I'm a big fan.
Blah 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 blog.
Oh yeah, blah 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 blog. Blah blog. Heck.
There's oh no, Bob Woodward is the journalist. I can't think of. That's
no. Yeah, that,
Woodward.
yeah.
No, so it's not Woodward. Then there's a guy named Woodward who also represented the same situation as that lawyer in Georgia who was representing Walt Nada and people who were
yes,
and
it's incredibly
confusing.
confusing.
Tavares and people who are going to testify against Usil Tavares or whatnot, but he was representing everyone, and then Usil Tavares decided, like Cassidy Hutchinson, to get his own lawyer, and all of a sudden it's like, well, you can't represent him anymore or ask him questions because you're representing people who have a direct conflict.
First of all, yes, and second of all, the use of the name Woodward in one such scandal is both hilarious and infuriating.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, Saucy Sea Witch is thinking along the lines that I am regarding individual 2, and I realize it's a small thing. But she says, dollars to donuts, some will be people high up in religious coalitions. Like, that's the kind. It's not necessarily all that relevant because, like, to whatever. But it's fascinating to see who knew what was going on and has said nothing. Not a thing.
Mm-hmm. The person I'm thinking about, his name is Stan Woodward.
Yeah.
Stan Woodward.
Not Bob Woodward. Big difference.
Yes, big difference. Now, here's another thing. In the documents case, Jack Smith has requested a January 2nd, 2024 election interference trial date, which sent Trump absolutely insane. Apparently, his main complaint is that it's the day after New Year's. I guess his normal complaint should have been, well, I'll still be hungover, but he claims he doesn't drink, so...
Day after New
So
Year's.
why is January 2nd? Oh, and it's a couple of days before the Iowa caucus. But again, Judge don't care.
Yeah, judges, the proper response is, so you're saying it's not on a federal holiday. Good. Okay. Yeah. Court's open. I'll see you there.
Yeah. Now, Jack Smith is making the case that it is in the there's a right to a speedy trial, and everybody assumes that the right to a speedy trial is for the defendant, but it is the United States versus Donald Trump. So the right to a speedy trial is also for the defendants, and he is trying to make the case because, unlike Georgia, where all court cases happen with a camera and are televised, federally that is not necessarily the case. You have to make a special application for this. And because there's the charge C-241, U.S. Title 18 C-241, which is interference with rights, the right to cast a vote and have it counted. Therefore, the victims of a crime should be able to attend the proceeding. And since all of the victims of the crime of having your vote interfered with and your vote to be able to be counted cannot fit in that courtroom or into a spillover courtroom where there would be CCTV broadcasting of what's going on in the main courtroom, the only solution is to make that televised, which is an interesting legal argument, but which also brings an interesting legal counter in that if all the victims are
Who's on the jury?
People who didn't vote at all?
I mean,
A jury
you've plenty to choose from.
Yes.
That's entirely possible, actually.
But I mean, like, to me, it would be simply be like, yeah, a jury of everybody who hasn't voted then one way or another. Did you vote? Nope. Okay, you're disqualified unless people that didn't vote. But it's like, along with all those other requests saying, hey, this is in DC, I can't possibly get a fair trial in DC. Let's move it where there's a more representative and diverse population for jury pool, like West Virginia.
Diverse. First of all, I'd like to welcome coma patients. Thank you very much.
And it's like, there hasn't been one case in all of DC and one January case, any judges, Trump appointed, Obama appointed, Bush appointed, anybody appointed, that's moved the case out of DC.
Guys, first of all, that's so fascinating. I actually hadn't heard anything like that, but that makes a lot of sense regarding the fact that the victims are all of us and we can't fit in the courtroom. Well put. And I agree with that reasoning. Truth be told, there's two scenarios where that law definitely changes. They might make an exception just based on what you said there. Hell, maybe it'll sway the judge. But either in September, the judicial conference, get ready, folks, get the vermouth, this is dry. The judicial conference meets in September, they can just choose to change the rules. It's literally that simple. Or we could acknowledge the fact that everything we do sucks and we could take some responsibility and we through our representatives could just vote to change rules. And this is one issue where I think like the craziest Republicans and the most radical Democrats will both vote the same for different reasons, but I think they would both absolutely say, no, we want to make sure what's happening in court is on the straight and narrow. And so they'll both vote in favor of that.
Yep,
but we gonna win.
Well, see, Jack Smith's interest in this is that when there's a trial that comes, usually the prosecution team doesn't talk to the media during the trial. But the defense, as soon as the court date is over, they run to the media and then they try to define for everybody what happened in court. So by having everything on TV, all the proceedings on TV that everybody can see, then, well, every time John Laurel goes out on TV and says, well, sure, he broke the law, but he was right to do so, or something. Or the judge was so unfair, blocked all his motions. And so let's roll tape.
Maybe you guys have better perspective than I do on this. Honest to God, if you had to take a stab here, what do you think Trump is actually trying to do to get out of trouble? What does it look like to you? I've said my piece. I think he's not going through the courts over this. But what do you guys see?
He's trying this in the court of public opinion, which is the only court he can somewhat control. And the justices are basically saying, yeah, you're not going to do that. He goes, well, that's my First Amendment to be able to speak about this. Yeah, but you can't give away identifying information. You certainly can't talk about the witness interviews. You certainly can't talk about. So, right. For him, everything is First Amendment.
That's
you have a right to say whatever I want, how I want, and you can't. And it's like, no, you don't.
Doesn't work that way.
Yeah, less. I guess what will actually happen, but like, what is he trying to make happen?
My thing is that he's trying to raise public furor so much that a judge would be intimidated to find him
And
guilty
just
or
throw
to
it.
impose a harsh sentence because they would fear that whatever
Okay.
consequences would be my fault. Oh my God, I imposed this and now there was a riot and 15 people died. I have that on my conscience. Isn't that awful or terrible? That's like, and sorry, but
I see.
judges are selected and paid not to care about that.
I hate how much sense that
Whatever
makes.
are the political consequences of my decision really do not matter. My first and only duty is to the law.
So really hoping for a series of lone wolf attacks that
Yep.
would then pressure the U.S. Court system to just give them passes every chance they can.
Yep. Or for somebody to pull a like the Nixon. Well, gee, we shouldn't pursue him because that would be too divisive and we'll never recover for that. So let's just give or something like that.
Another way to put it might be the threat
Symbolic
of
sentence.
physical force to affect a political goal or to affect the workings of government. Terrorism.
Yep.
Terrorism.
Or if he's found guilty, to be giving a lighter sentence, or some of these charges do come with a sentence where you're forbidden from running for office again. Not all of them, but some of them. So, don't find me guilty on that one, so I can run again. Or something. But there's something.
I think
he wants to squeeze from. That's the only power he has left, because he doesn't control anything else. I mean, just being called Mr. Trump in the courtroom rather than the former president is enough to make him turn red.
I really think that is the only thing he has left to negotiate with. Like if I'm sitting down and I'm Trump and therefore I don't have whatever lobe of the brain is responsible for morality, and I'm just looking at personal gain, I don't think he doesn't have money to negotiate with, not really, because all of his wealth is in fact tied up in real estate and yada yada yada. He can't.
And he's the world's most infamous panhandler, really.
Yes. He does not have a legal case at this point. We've gone over it. He doesn't have a legal case. Mountain of evidence. All he has is the fact that he is a headache right now, and all he can offer is the ability to stop being a headache to America and the rest of the world, frankly.
Yeah. What the other thing they're wondering is maybe he pleads out at the end because the last thing he can do is like found guilty. I mean, if he's found guilty, he goes down the martyrdom road. I'm a martyr. And hopes that somebody breaks him out, I guess, or something.
He don't have the courage for the cross. He doesn't have it. He doesn't even have the courage for the crown. I think the way this ends, and your old pal Jake's going to make a prediction here on the True North Eager Beaver podcast, the finest podcast on the internet. When I'm sleeping.
There you go.
Bold. It was too bold. I didn't feel it, and I think you could tell. It's if you got to pick, hell, I'll be watching True North. But the point is,
trash talk in all in good fun, my friend.
It was an attempt. I just didn't have the heart for it.
You got to commit to the bit.
Through. Yeah. When I'm braver. But no, my true prediction here is that Trump is going to get right up to the point where you think we're going to have a fun series of trials, and what he is going to do is buckle, admit to everything, plead, literally beg and plead, and throw all of the co-conspirators, all of them, under the bus. The ultimate plot twist in this lost season 6 that is America.
Okay,
I'll tell
you everything you need to know.
Yeah, it's going to be that Trump is the rat. Trump's going to end up being the guy that flips on the whole gang. That's what I think. I think that's where this heads.
I believe Trump even sells out Ivanka.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. 100. Kushner?
Oh, Kushner means nothing to him.
Yeah. That's the guy that's taken up the girl Trump's got a crush on. He's going to toss him absolutely under the bus.
Kushner was only brought in for him to say, I can't be racist. I have Jewish people in my family. I let one marry my daughter.
Yeah. And
I
he thought Kushner had money.
How racist can I be?
Yeah. Oh, God. How can I be racist? I've got a crush on a Jewish girl. It's by marriage, but still. It's truly, I am just waiting for him. I'm so glad you got it because I wasn't sure. It was a risk.
I got it.
I mean, I think he's going to flip. I just don't think he's got the heart for what's. I think he just had a little tiny peak, but I like consequences coming his way. I think he's terrified. The only thing that has me wondering is there are so many people that would have to agree to that flip because he's not gonna get a pass on the federal only to get eaten up by the state. It's
Right.
got to be in his book all or nothing.
Right.
So I think Merrick Garland might be having a very weak-voiced conversation right now, where he's begging various attorneys general to let Trump go for yada yada. Hope it doesn't happen. That's what I think is going to
I
happen.
hope not.
He definitely won't be let go, but there'll be some ridiculous agreement that we hate.
I have a feeling that Merrick Garland would have a very tough time, whatever mechanism is that would happen. I don't think there's a legal one for that to happen, to convince Fonnie Lewis to, could you tone it down? Because you seem to be throwing everything you got at this one. It's like you didn't throw a book, you threw the whole damn library at him.
Kind of the job,
He's
though,
not.
isn't
You're
it?
making me look bad here.
Yes, it is the job, and you would think that would mean that that's the normal behavior, but no. Fonnie Willis is the first person I've ever seen do the job as it is stated.
Right.
And I agree with you guys. I think if there's a hiccup in that plan of just a cover up with more steps now, it's Fonnie Willis, and that gives me hope.
Yep. And hopefully, maybe that gives people a little more courage, because
yes,
hey, like I said, it's never too late for superseding indictments.
No, it didn't. No, it
Hey,
isn't.
Fonnie Willis went for it. She got like this. You know what? Hey, let's throw a couple more on.
Just go after everything and see what happens.
Yes, get everything. File for everything. What not? And it's like you're the people,
That's
and
it.
it's the people's money. Charge them for everything. See what sticks. Why not?
Here's the secretly
Charge
embarrassing
them for
thing.
breathing funny on a Wednesday past 5 p.m. if it's illegal somewhere. If there's an old law from 17 something that's still on the books that nobody took out, like just comb them, find all those old archaic laws. Charge them with everything and anything.
You guys are
there's
hitting
got to
on.
be a few out there.
Oh yeah, and you guys have zeroed in on exactly what is like maybe the most embarrassing thing that hasn't been discussed really openly yet, which is we have a famously robust police force and court system in the U.S. We imprison more people than, let me just check, everyone.
Yeah.
And everyone.
Anywhere
And
at
yet,
any time.
And yet, it took us this long to handle a coup. It's almost as though the system of justice that we have is not designed for these people. It's maybe designed for somebody else. If I just could think about who. Black people. That's what it's
for. Well, did you see that? There's a guy recently on a radio show who talked about Batman. He says, I hate Batman. Batman's not a good guy. I'm like, what? He goes, you've got this multi-billionaire guy, vigilante, who dresses up in this specialized bulletproof suit with that crazy car.
True.
And who does he go after? Street level criminals, not big corporatists, not the true criminals. He goes, to heck with Batman. He didn't say to heck with Batman, but I'm like, I never thought about it. Why would I see it that way? I'm a white man. I wouldn't notice that. But what is Batman? He goes after the guy just on the corner selling cigarettes, just trying to get by. He's not going after these corporate bigwigs. So yeah.
Even take like the most literal interpretation. So this guy works for the Riddler, and he's some jackass with a question mark on his shirt and like a number. Okay, what situation is he living in where he's putting on a shirt with a number and getting into a fist fight with a man in a cape? For what? For a paycheck?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Bruce Wayne is the villain of Batman stories. You're right.
Well, when you think about it, I mean, look at the Joker. He lives in absolute squalor, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's a. I'm going to go ahead and keep the Joker firmly in the villain category, just as a
He's
precaution.
just misunderstood.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's just a super interesting point.
Batman.
We
Never
should-
saw it like that.
Version.
We should absolutely make like yes, like a working class Batman. That is something I would 100% be checking out.
Well, and look at Linda's comment. Catwoman wanted to take down the big guy, right? So
Yeah, I'm
Catwoman,
more
who's
of a
supposed to be the
Catwoman
villain, is not a villain. She went
No.
after the bad guys, the real bad guys, the ones who make life
Absolutely.
hell for the rest of us, so that people
Yes.
resort to committing crimes just to stay alive.
100%.
Mhm.
We'll
You know?
keep We're keeping Catwoman unchanged. We're changing Bruce Wayne. He's going to have a Ryobi grappling hook now, and like one contractor. There we go. The one person who's worked with tools
Walt Nada.
will appreciate that. Yeah, Walt Nada will get that.
replace Albert with Walt Nada.
Oh God. Oh. We have the worst villains in this era. We have the
Yeah.
lamest villains.
Well, it's like I've been
Remember we
saying
had-
lately. We live in the most technologically advanced timeline where we have access to all the knowledge of the world in the palm of our hands at any given moment. Yet we live in the most willfully ignorant timeline at the same time.
We choose not to know. We choose not to know. We actually go out of our way not to know.
Mhm.
We make more effort and invest more energy in not knowing, not exposing ourselves to something, than actually knowing.
You know, at least when it was like the West versus the East, and we were in what was kind of our heyday collectively. Like at least when we used to have villains, would be like, "Come on, Ruskies, I'll race you to the moon," and did some wild at least.
Mhm.
Now we're just like our dictator's not quite as bad as that dictator, right? It's so
That's what it boils down to, right?
In Canada, we have wannabe dictators, but look how friendly we can make them look.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's kind of fit from this angle, so that's
Right.
a personality.
He kind of sort of can shake hands like a normal human being.
He
That was Andrew
has
Scheer.
oh god.
Oh my god. He once served in the military. Aaron
Yeah.
O'Toole.
Served soft serve ice cream from a truck that was parked in a military base, but it's
Wasn't he in the
lived a life of
ROTC?
service.
I think.
Well, I mean, he snuck around with rats outside of a military school, but still, he's got experience in the field.
Yeah,
In a
that's the
field.
field.
A cigarette butt.
A field.
He's outstanding in his field.
Literally, he's out in the field standing,
Yeah.
outstanding in his field.
Behind a Hooters, next to a passed out guy.
I am so sweaty under this. I've been laughing so hard. I could take my finger like this. I could probably.
Oh,
Oh
God.
man. Oh crap. Oh,
Gents,
man.
I gotta jump for the day. I got a
Yep.
bunch of meetings I gotta attend to. So I hate to cut this short, although we've been
No.
on for over
It's-
2
it's-
hours. So
come on, it's over 2 hours. This is not cutting it
Oh.
short.
And this is a 2 for Tuesday. I have 2
Yeah.
streams to do tonight.
Ooh,
I gotta go
might
as well,
join you.
brother.
I might pop on. This
Hell
seems
yeah.
like the day to pop on.
Oh, for sure.
I think it would be.
For sure.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it would be.
So what time do you start?
The proper stream starts at 9 Eastern. The other stream starts at a point where I'm prepared. Whenever
Okay.
that happens.
All right.
All right, sir.
I'll bounce, y'all. See ya.
See ya. Thanks for coming by, brother.
Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime.
Always love having you.
Oh man, we might have enjoyed that a little too much.
It's all good. All good in the hood.
The kids seem to have loved it anyway. That's for sure. Petty is such a beautiful color on you, dear queen. Yeah. All right, kids. That's the end of this episode of the Daily Beaver podcast. We hope that you love listening to us because we loved making this for you. Remember that sharing is caring and word of mouth is priceless. Let your peeps and poops know about us because democracy is something that you do. Celebrate. Enjoy this if you have a little bit of champagne lying around the house that was waiting for a special occasion.
This is a moment when Shannon Freud is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
Perfectly acceptable in every stretch of the word, because these are terrible people who have done things to harm democracy at the most basic level, and they're finally finding out.
Yep. Yeah. So if you got yourself a little butter poached lobster, tonight might be a good day for it. Just saying, and meanwhile, also take some time with your day to write a letter and, tell our MPs, MPPs, and senators and whatnot that you want to get that fucker Doug Ford. Pardon my language.
He's next. No, he's next. He's next.
If you really like this podcast, you can find us on the Crier Media Network, as well as all Beaver Grizzly friendly platforms. And if your platform ain't Beaver Grizzly and Jake friendly, then why the hell are you on it? Stars and reviews are appreciated, so please be generous. We love to hear from you. We really do. So please reach us on our Facebook at True North Eager Beaver, our Twitter feed at True Eager, or by email at truenortheagerbeaver@gmail.com. And you can subscribe to us, thanks to Ray Girl, at our Podpage site. That's podpage.com/the True North Eager Beaver, lowercase letters, all in one, not all in one word, sorry, with a hyphen between each one of those words. And there you go. Oh, we have Jake going. I'm so pumped for the Doug Ford stream. I'll be lurking. We have two already, one called Green Belted and one called Premier Porky Pig. So check those ones out. Yeah, you'll probably.
There's more to come.
More to come. So much more to come. Why not also subscribe to our True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube channel? That helps us up big time. And wow, the numbers are surely going up. I think
that button right there.
Yeah. I think it was 2 weeks ago that I was asking you to help us get us over 300, and we're at 325. So whatever it is that you're doing.
327.
327. There you go. So there you go. Thank you so much. More people are joining faster. So,
328.
320. There you. Whoever did it just right now, thank you. Thank you. There you go. Hey, live and in real time. We can't do this without your kind and generous support. Oh, sorry. So make like Elaine and smash those buttons. The like and the subscribe. Do like 300
and the share.
Yeah, share.
3 buttons. Like, share, subscribe.
Yeah. Do like 328 people. I've already done. Be part of the cool kid. We can't do this without your kind and generous. Yeah, us cool kids. Sorry, that was funny. We can't do this without your kind and generous support. So if you feel well, maybe you're a cool kid. I never was. So if you feel we've done a particularly good show, if you're watching, you can scan the QR code on the top left to find our coffee /hot chocolate /Guinness /Caesar /champagne from the actual region today. Yeah, not that sparkling white crap. Actual champagne. Okay, the code is not appearing, but that's fine.
Oh, I hang on. Let's see
that's
here.
fine. It doesn't matter. But if you are listening, and if you're watching, we hope that you're listening as well. You can use your voice command or your digits to go to ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, all in one word, lowercase letters. And that's where you can make your donation to our emergency hydration fund. And that little squiggly that's under Mr. Grizzly's chin today, it will bring you to our pot page so that you can subscribe. And that way, when we have something fresh off the bandwidth, we'll come straight to you immediately. From the Beaver Lodge, this is your eager beaver saying, I'm dreaming of a white Trumpmas. Very, 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 very white Trumpmas. Ooh. Until next time, dear kids, it could be a tough world out there, so please be kind to and gentle with yourself. And, before we go, may I ask you for your words of wisdom? Yesterday or 2 days ago, we went to A&W just to grab a burger.
Oh, it was, right. And you got recognized.
Yeah, no. That wasn't A&W. I had a Beyond Meat burger for the first time.
It's quite good, eh?
It was actually ridiculously good. I love A&W.
I wouldn't have it often, but it is quite tasty. I'm not going to lie. I did like it.
Yeah. And I had A&W lettuce wraps the burger, so I can eat a burger like a normal person with my hands, right? Because I can't have the bun. While we were eating, out of the blue, I kid you not, Silver Bells. It was playing Thump 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 EDM, and then all of a sudden it just switched to Silver Bells. We were in Christmas songs in August while we were eating.
Can we at least have, Labor Day and Thanksgiving first? Like, God.
I think somebody
Remembrance Day? Like,
I think somebody might have leaned on the button incorrectly there, but nobody noticed. Just like having a beat, and it's like I hear the first 3 bars and going, Silver Bells? No, that must be wrong. City Street. Really? Mr. Grizzly, words of wisdom.
yeah, don't think you don't have the power. Don't think that justice will go unserved. Sometimes you have to be patient because the justice, as it say, the slow wheels of justice, they are. We're going to keep hammering the hell out of Doug Ford about his corrupt level of government. That's basically, yeah. I don't know if you caught the episode on Dean's show yesterday with our friend David Wallace,
That's what I'm going to listen to right next.
Yeah, David he's dropping the dime and lowering the boom, as the saying goes. We need to see that this corrupt politician, this bag man, gets what's coming to him. I mean, this cannot go unpunished. It cannot go unpunished. They broke every rule, admitted to it, but they're not going to do anything about it. So yeah, we gotta see that he's punished.
Yep. Our thoughts always are still with the people in Alberta and Yellowknife and BC who are experiencing some wildfires. The highway out of Fort Smith has been closed, and the city of Yellowknife has declared a state of emergency. So please be careful. Canadian Armed Forces are arriving on the ground today to help with that. But it's pretty bad. Some of the flames are so intense that just be careful. Okay. And all right, Mr. Grizzly, please roll them credits.
I'm gonna try this and see if it works.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and The Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
And of course, a big thank you to all the kits and cubs who joined us today, and a big thank you to all the wonderful kits from the Wicked Network and the Wicked Podcast who have joined us on the chat here, like Wireless Mike 73. Always lovely to see you, and I believe Pinkerbell might also be one, because that's a new name for us here. So thank you for having joined us this morning. Before we leave, because we talked all about US, the consumer price index numbers for Canada will be out today. Economists from our BMO and CIBC said that they predict that inflation, the number will actually go up from 2.8 to about 3.1, mostly on the basis of rising fuel costs. And you're going to hear PP and all of them say, oh, it's the gas and it's Trudeau's policies and whatnot. But no, it was the fact that on July 3rd, Russia decided that it and Saudi Arabia decided that collectively they were removing 1.5 million barrels per day of production out for all of August to try and boost the price of oil between $70 and $80. That's what the increase is. Nothing Trudeau did. worked out. Just
No.
so you know, before you get the 2 scoops of BS.
The
today.
gaslight. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, have a good day.
See ya.